Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I want to talk a bit about Bitcoin's price and what we may see happen next. In addition, the rotation of liquidity from gold over to Bitcoin. And this should come as no surprise because what I've been sharing with you guys is the macro thesis of we are in a bull market for all assets. We're in the everything bubble. I've been talking about that for the past 2 years, right? This is all following global liquidity. So it includes real estate, crypto, stocks, and precious metals. And what we've seen lately is not only gold taking off, but silver, right? So clearly the data shows, right? If you go back and look at the data over the past 2 years, that all of these things are going to higher valuations. And it's all following, once again, global liquidity. So right now, Bitcoin, an update from yesterday's podcast, has dropped below the 200-day moving average. That's the bull market line in the sand. I've often stated if we are comfortably above that, we are in a bull market. When we are below it in a downtrend, we're in a bear market. Now, we've seen throughout this bull market that Bitcoin has dipped below but recovered. So what we want to see, folks, is Bitcoin recover out of here. The good thing is that the RSI is at below 35. In fact, it went below 34 today on the daily chart. Now, it could go below 30 because we actually saw that earlier this year with the tariff sell-off, right? Where everyone was panicking and selling, and that drop was bigger. And it happened over a longer time frame of months. And, people were like, oh my God, that's it. Trump crashed the markets and so forth, right? I think a lot of people don't actually remember because they wouldn't be freaked out as much about what's happening now. So on the daily, the MACD shows the bears are losing some momentum. The MACD went from solid red to light red. So if you know this metric and this signal, you know that when you're solid, that's a very strong indicator. When we're getting lighter, that's a weaker indicator. So we're seeing some positive signs here, but we're not out of the woods yet. Absolutely not, right? So I'm not saying the bottom is in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're close to it and we have to give it time and let it play out. And then for Bitcoin on the monthly chart, the bulls are still in control. So that's one thing that's a big factor as to why I think this bull market is not over. In addition, October usually is a green month, the year following a Bitcoin halving. So we had the Bitcoin halving last year, 2024, and the data shows us that Octobers are usually good. So could October recover? It's possible, but it's not guaranteed. So here, Analyst Crypto currently said rough first half of October for Bitcoin, especially when compared to previous post-halving years like 2013, 2017, and 2021. Bitcoin can still turn things around here, but we really want to see that start to happen soon. So again, with the Bitcoin being in the oversold zone, bears losing some momentum on the daily chart, we'll have to wait and see. But again, not guaranteed. But let's see if in another week's time, Bitcoin bottoms out and then starts moving up. Right now, we're at negative 6.2% or 6.02%. So let's see what happens. Now, the other factor I've been highlighting as to why this doesn't feel like the top, like the market top, is the Bitcoin dominance. It has not waterfalled or collapsed like we've seen before. And right now it's actually moving back up. So that makes sense. It is slowly but surely creeping its way back up. So where's that big collapse? Right? Where is it? It's not like the previous market cycles, and the sentiment doesn't match this. Please tell me which bull market ends in fear. It's not like that at all. And not to mention, you have gold ripping right now. And we're going to get to gold, so let me not get ahead of myself. But USDT dominance, the stablecoin dominance, that has also not collapsed like we've seen before. So why is this all of a sudden, something people are calling the tops because they see certain things on the weekly chart and so forth? But you got to balance all of these data points. And like I said, I'm not saying the bear case, there's not a bear case. There is a bear case, but I believe the higher probability is on the bull side because of the macro factors, the on-chain factors, and the chart factors. You got people using charts saying the top is in. You can't just use one factor, right? So I hope you understand what I'm trying to share here and why I'm looking at this market from a 360 point of view using multiple data points. So Bitcoin dominance has not dropped like before. USDT dominance has not dropped before. And what we're seeing is that Tether, they're minting. So today we had another billion in USDT minted. On October 15th, we had a billion. On October 13th, we had a billion. So 3 billion over the past week or so. And I expect this to continue. And look, there's also other stablecoins, but we use Tether as the main benchmark. So that liquidity we know is going to make its way into the market. And go now, jumping to the gold conversation. So global liquidity, as I've been telling you guys, is the leading indicator here, and it's one factor. But when you put it together with the other factors I just shared, it's showing there's more upside, and gold is following that, and Bitcoin was following that but slowed down a bit. But we've seen these deviations throughout the bull market. It's not a perfect, tick for tick. It's more directional. We know that, hey, if this is showing there's more upside, regardless of the short-term volatility, we're going to catch up. So gold has been going parabolic, right, guys? But right now it's actually pulling back a bit, and which I think is healthy because holy cow, it is overbought on the daily chart. If you go look at the RSI metric for gold throughout its bull market cycle, there's never been an RSI period extended like this. So it is so overheated, folks. It is insane how overheated it is. The RSI has been, hitting the 90s and in the 80s, and usually you're in the overbought zone as soon as you cross 70, right? So this is pretty wild. But hey, let's see. It may have more upside, but this right here is a parabolic euphoria move, and we're seeing retail lining up. There's people sharing on social media across the world. People are lining up to buy gold. So when have you seen stuff like that, right? Usually you see it for stocks and crypto, but it's on the internet, but people actually lining up. That is a top signal. You got to understand when normies, the retail folks are lining up like this, and we need to go buy gold. And when it's been pumping like crazy, going parabolic, that's a top signal. So I love the breakdown that Crypto currently gave, because he highlighted over the past 2 years the correlation between gold and Bitcoin. And when gold pumped and cooled down, Bitcoin ran, and vice versa. So that correlation, this is the data now. No feelings or emotions, no bias here. This is just the data. Go line up the charts yourself on TradingView, and you see they each have their turn, right? I've often said every asset has its day in the sun here, and this rotation of liquidity. How many times have we talked about that? So I believe with gold making its move here, and it's showing there's still life in this macro bull market, that I believe it's going to cool down, and then crypto and stocks are going to run again, guys. That has a strong possibility of playing out because of how we've seen it run over the past couple of years. So this is something a lot of people are sharing. And look, it can't be the only factor. Again, because some people only show this and say, see, bull market's not over. But no, tell me what's happening on the Bitcoin monthly chart. Tell me what's happening with the RSI. Tell me what the whales are doing with on-chain data, right? Tell me about Bitcoin dominance, USDT dominance, like all the things I just shared with you. Tell me what's happening with sentiment. So this is why we need to look at multiple factors, and not to mention the Fed, as we've been highlighting, is on the path to ramp down QT, which means QE is going to return, and they're cutting rates. So all of these macro factors are bullish for the markets. It's just in the short term now, it's very volatile and painful. Look, I get it. My bags are down too, guys, right? But I hope you know me by now. I try to remain even keel and level headed and look at the data. And as I was telling you guys earlier this year in the tariff crash, the data is just screaming to me, it's not over. Now, could everything I say here be invalidated by another black swan event? Of course. Of course, guys. And, like I said at the beginning, if Bitcoin continues breaking down and it doesn't recover to the 200-day moving average, that's bear market city. We're on that train to bear market city, but it hasn't done yet, right? And the signals are saying overbought. So it can't keep going down. There's going to be a floor, if you know what I mean. So this is where, guys, we have to be smart and look at the data. And be patient as well. And I think global liquidity and what gold is doing and what the normie retail people are doing with gold is a positive sign for the rest of the markets. Now, folks, this episode is brought to you by Trezor. Trezor makes beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy for you to self-custody your assets safely. I'm a big believer in self-custody. You all know that. I've been using hardware wallets for years, and I personally use the Trezor Safe 5. It's a beautiful device. It has a large screen, and it's so easy to use. And Trezor supports all the major crypto assets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, everything you could think of. You go down the list: Dogecoin, Cardano, and much more. They even list new coins, even things like BlackRock's BUIDL token, which is pretty incredible. And they have a software called Trezor Suite, which helps you to manage all this. So it's pretty easy to set it up. And they also have a hand-holding service. So if you want to speak to a Trezor rep to get help to set up your device, you can do so. And don't worry, they don't ask you for your private keys, so you don't have to worry about that. But they can answer any questions you have, and you can speak directly to a person there. So that's great customer service, folks. So once again, I'm a user. I'm a big believer. Trezor, they started all this. They were the pioneers of the hardware wallet. So their pedigree in this space is amazing. And they started doing this in 2013. They created the seed phrase setup. So all the other hardware wallets out there that you see have, the same setup, it came from Trezor, right? They modeled their devices after Trezor. So if you want to buy a device, you can use my code ThinkingCrypto, all one word, ThinkingCrypto, to get 5% off. So check out the link in the description. Now, folks, look at this news. Richest YouTube star MrBeast's firm files for a trademark with crypto ambitions. So we know MrBeast, the largest YouTuber. I watch his content. He does some pretty cool stuff. And it looks like he's going to dabble in Web3. And it makes sense, right? We see the direction the puck is heading in. Everybody's going to integrate blockchain in one form or the other. So let me give you the details. Beast Holdings, tied to YouTube personality MrBeast, has filed a trademark application for MrBeast Financial with crypto-linked services. The application includes language related to crypto and Web3, such as managing financial services, downloadable software, and SaaS tools for managing crypto-related functionality. The move hints at a potential push into fintech and Web3, possibly targeting MrBeast's massive audience, and could serve as a crypto on-ramp or exchange. Some more details here is that the application includes services like cryptocurrency payment processing, crypto exchange, and trading through a decentralized exchange, also known as a DEX. So this would be a smart move for MrBeast if he creates some sort of app where he's able to offer a token or NFTs, but also allow people to buy crypto, right? Now we'll have to see all the details, right? Don't trust. We got to verify, right? We got to make sure that this is going to be built well and with security in mind and much more. But if this is what he's doing, he's going to bring in millions, potentially billions of people into Web3, guys. And it doesn't necessarily have to be folks buying crypto, but even if they're using NFTs or they're using blockchain in different ways with rewards tokens and things like that, that is something that's going to bring more people on chain, get them more comfortable with using crypto related wallets, understanding blockchain and cryptography and tokenization and much more. So on social media, users are speculating MrBeast could be planning a cryptocurrency exchange or crypto-linked neobank. I think it's more of the latter. It's like more of a neobank. I don't think he's going to go straight up, this is my crypto app, but it's going to be tied into his YouTube channel and brand where you can probably buy his merchandise, his chocolates and things that he makes, but also do cool things with rewards. And we'll see who he partners with. I don't believe he's going to be building this from scratch. It makes sense if he partners with an existing infrastructure, right? Like a Coinbase or like a PayPal or something, right? A company that has these things already in place. So let's see this, whoever gets the partnership, I mean, it's going to be huge for them. MrBeast's brand is huge, guys. I mean, I don't think I need to tell you all about that. If you don't know who MrBeast is, then you have been sleeping under a rock or something. But this would be a massive on-ramp. So very bullish news here. Now, look at this news, and this may be a bit controversial because it touches a bit of politics and media, but I'm here to report the news, so don't shoot the messenger. So NewsMax stock ticks higher amid plans to establish a $5 million crypto treasury with Trump token and Bitcoin. Now, I'm okay with Bitcoin, right? And even the other assets, Ethereum, XRP. The Trump token, I don't like that. I've told you guys from day one, no president, Democrat, Republican, Independent should have a token, should have a meme coin. So I'm not a believer in that, but I do appreciate Trump being pro crypto, obviously. But I don't like that token. But look, the treasury move continues. More companies buying and putting assets on their balance sheet, guys. This is bullish. And again, as I said in yesterday's podcast, regardless of if you like these companies or not, that doesn't matter. What matters, they're buying the assets you're holding, creating more of a supply and demand economic shock, and they're putting the news out in the public, so pumping the token and things like that. So let's ride the wave. I'm okay. You guys keep buying, but one of the things I said, I don't know how many of these companies survive the bear market. So this is why we want to make sure we take the profits as we head to that blow off top, folks. And speaking of folks that are bullish, Charles Schwab CEO Rick Wurster remains bullish on crypto exchange traded products, talking about ETFs, stating that the asset manager's clients own 20% of all crypto ETPs in the country. Crypto ETPs have been very active, he said on CNBC on Friday, noting that visits to the company's crypto site have gone up 90% in the past year, of course. So all of Wall Street is capitulating, bending the knee. Even Vanguard. Remember the guys who were trashing crypto and ETFs and so forth? Now, oh yeah, we're gonna list it, we're gonna add it, right? They all got to bend the knee, folks. So Schwab currently offers crypto ETFs and Bitcoin futures and plans to offer crypto spot trading to its clients in 2026. So this will be a huge on ramp, guys. And guess what? All Wall Street's going to do this, right? We've seen it with other asset classes. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And they're going to, I think many of them are waiting for like the Clarity Act to pass, the market structure bill to do more. That's from what I've heard from interviewing people and even off the record conversations. Obviously, I can't tell you who, but from very credible folks. And they're just waiting. They're like, hey, look, we're doing some research, testing the waters, internally, but we can't put out certain things yet because, our legal team is saying wait for legislation because until it's a matter of principle, until it's in stone that it's been passed into law by Congress and not, let's say, an executive order by President Trump, because if it's just an executive order, a new president in 4 years or whatever can reverse that. But if Congress passes it, it's a done deal, baby, right? So they that's what they're waiting for, and it's amazing to see what is happening and who's getting involved. Now, final news item here. Robinhood tokenizes nearly 500 US stocks, ETFs on Aribtrum for EU users. Now, many of you may recall my interview with Vlad Tenev from earlier this year in August, actually. And we talked a bit about this. If you haven't seen that interview, check it out, folks. And, they chose Aribtrum, the Ethereum layer 2, to tokenize, and they're all on board. They see what's coming, and they're trying to beat a lot of the other Wall Street firms, and they're doing it globally. So Robinhood has expanded its tokenization initiative on the Aribtrum blockchain, deploying 80 new stock tokens in the past few days and bringing the total number of tokenized assets close to 500. According to the data from Dune Analytics, Robinhood has tokenized 493 assets with a total value exceeding $8.5 million. Cumulative mint volume has surpassed 19.3 million, offset by around 11.5 million in burning activity, signaling a growing but actively traded market. So, guys, I mean, we know this is just going to continue to expand, and they're not the only one. We know Kraken, even Galaxy, Webull, and a whole bunch of other folks are looking to do the same. And again, they're doing this globally, right? So this is a tokenization race. It's amazing to watch all this play out. And like I said, you want to look at the blockchains that are being used. So Aribtrum, you may want to grab the ARB token, not financial advice, do your research. Now, personally, I'm not, because I believe at this stage in the market, I'm not buying. I will be buying in the bear market, so maybe I'll look at Aribtrum. I'll let you guys know, right? We'll see what else is happening on Aribtrum, and if Robinhood is just using Aribtrum as a testing ground, but they decide to build their own layer 2 on Ethereum or whatever else, right? So these are the things we have to consider and do our due diligence, right? So we don't just FOMO in because of a headline, but we have to take the time to do the research. And I always share with you guys the different factors I'm looking at when I'm investing in a blockchain or a token. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here, and we'll continue this journey, folks. All right, folks, if you appreciated the content, please subscribe to my email newsletter. It is 100% free. Link will be in the description. And check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital, and my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything about crypto. So once again, go to mycryptocourse.com. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.